episode 6.
Episode 6
of the Quamfy show. And the start of a new series, because starting today, we're going to begin with a partnership series. We noticed that there's some FUD going around regarding certain partnerships, particularly AWS. We're not going to start with AWS, but there are more partnerships that have been around for way longer and are way bigger, more prominent, and we have way more impact. And we're just going to start there, and we're gonna just build it up. So this is going to be a new series. Maybe there's going to be another new series in the future. We don't know, but this is going to be the partnership series. It's going to be a different playlist. You can find it on the YouTube channel at least, and we'll see what we do with the title.
Yeah, so it will run chronologically. Obviously, we will just continue with the numbering, but from today on, we will be discussing partnerships every episode. Sometimes we will do something else in a different episode. We will have guests over people who can speak to us. But yeah, we noticed that we are kind of telling the same story every week, so we need to go a little bit back into our in-depth series. So that's what we will be doing. Yeah, but first, we're gonna do this briefly, and then we will go straight into what you're here for.
Yeah.
How do you feel with the current market, Jarno? What's your feelings?
Current market's a little bit boring. I think too many people are waiting for other people to do stuff.
Yeah.
The people that are very experienced and know a lot. We talked about this in the Dutch podcast. People like Ropel and shit are talking. Do not try to trade the war. And traders, not traitors. I keep saying this, and I hear my own pronunciation, and I'm like, okay, am I calling for traders or traitors? So they create most volume, and if there's no volume, then you're gonna get slippage, and it's a shit show. So nobody's trading, and everybody's waiting for other people to start trading.
Yeah.
And until somebody has the balls to throw a couple of billion in the market, we're gonna be going sideways for a bit, I suppose.
Yeah.
Which is fine, because on the FA side of things, everything is juicy. But yeah, it's not much to see, not much to do. I think I checked. I haven't checked price today. Yeah, I did once.
Nice.
I needed to get. I needed to go to the butchers, so I needed some money. So I saw the QNT.
Oh, okay.
So I did check price in that regard, but I'm not on it the entire time anymore.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, I'm kind of numb. Really, I don't really care about crypto at the moment. Not because I don't care about crypto, just simply because I have other things on my mind. Life's pretty busy, and well, I just kind of notice when there is price action, so then I reckon something is going on. But at the moment, that's not really the case, and I don't really care, honestly. It's all right, and well, we'll just have to see where we're going. There was some exciting news today, though. A new Overledger update 2.22, right? So we will be discussing that in a bit.
Let me look it up straight away, and then we'll just swing on to the partnership we're going to address today.
Oh, sure. Yeah, let's do that first.
Let me see. Yeah, I also changed some stuff on my setup. I don't know if you guys can see this. How does this work? But I got a new case. No, you can't see this. No, you can't. I got a ring light here, and I got a sheath here because the lighting was shit, and it all. Oh well. So yeah, there's
new Overledger update. Let's start there.
Yeah. Let's see.
Yeah, or do you want to do it later?
No, got it here.
We're diving straight into it.
Yeah, got it right here. So it reads Overledger 2.2.2. Felt like I'm stuttering. Introduces new tier 2
222.
Yeah. Introduces new tier 2 QRC20 secure smart contract capabilities. March 17, 2022, with Overledger 222, MDApp developers can now deploy tier 2 QRC20 secure smart contracts on the Ethereum Robston testnet. Tier 2 QRC20 functionality built on the existing capabilities of Quant Tier 1 QRC smart contracts. QRC20 token function tokens function like their Ethereum standard counterpart, the ERC20s, with the same definitions and structure for smart tokens. While ERC20 tokens are designed for deployment on the Ethereum network, ERC20 tokens will be blockchain agnostic and work across multiple distributed ledger technologies, DLTs. MDApp developers can use our APIs to increase their token supply, deploy and mint, and reduce their token supply by burning their own QRC20 tokens. Once the QRC20 Tier 2 contract is deployed, a new set of QRC20 Tier 1 and Tier 2 APIs will be automatically updated, supporting the newly created Tier 2 QRC20 token. Developers can also create joint and multiple ownership accounts for their tokens using our Add Account Owner API. They will also be able to remove secondary account owners using our Remove Account API. Future releases of Overledger will enable secondary account owners to make payments on the primary account owner's behalf. For more information on this release, new API, see the Overledger 222 release notes. Learn more here.
Let's not go into the release notes. In layman's terms, what do we see?
Yeah, I got a cheat sheet.
Nice.
Because Quantidian, bless you, made somebody asked the question, what does it mean, Eli 5? Explain it like I'm 5. And Quantidian wrote this in Telegram. Here's a stab. Quant is developing a platform that gives developers and enterprise the ability to create and control their own tokens and smart contracts that will have a low barrier to entry. Don't need to be a blockchain developer or create your own blockchain. And the results will have native interoperability amongst blockchains within the OVN ecosystem, in addition to regulatory and standards compliance. The tiers represent the degree of control they have over the behavior and the complexity of those tokens. More control means more cost to the developer. I don't know if that made that a lot easier to understand per se.
No clue what you're saying, but
yeah,
it seems like another update. So yeah.
Yeah, we discussed in one of the first videos the tier system. You got tier 1 to tier 4 for the QRC20 functionality, and the smart contract gets more complex the higher the tier comes. So what happens now?
Oh, yeah, I do remember. Yeah.
Yeah,
you had like 4 tiers. Yeah. I remember. Yeah.
So besides that, you have a tier 1, you can create a token. Some people made a potato token. I think Pultney sent Gil 1 potato.
Yeah.
You can now actually create more tokens and burn tokens, and as it states, you can have multiple owners on a smart contract, so multiple people can edit. And I think that's the thing. I mean, obviously it's a thing because it's the second thing that gets added, so I think it's huge. But I do not understand it fundamentally, to be honest.
Yeah, well, that's really a bad thing. We're just randos investing in quant.
Yeah. So for now, another tech update. Shit is getting done. I think that's the bottom line.
Yeah.
When was the last update? Was that last week or the week before that?
I think the week before that.
Is that 2 weeks already? I knew they were on a bi-weekly program, but schedule. I mean. It just feels like last week we had another update. No, it was the week before that, because last week we were recording on Wednesday, not on Thursday, so we were early, etc. Okay, never mind. My logistics. I'm a bit chaotic today, guys. I'm so very sorry. So yeah, the new update.
Nice.
New
okay,
update.
Let's skip straight to SIA. It's nice, but I don't really care.
What the fuck is this?
I mean, no, but like it's nice, but
yeah, it's not.
It's just another.
It's not gateways. It's not Kraken.
It's no. Yeah.
Kraken. Okay. How the mighty have fallen. They added ApeCoin.
Apologies for that, but honestly, all those updates, it's nice, and I don't think it's relevant for us investors. Like, don't get me wrong, it's good that they publish another update, and it is one of the next steps. It's in the grand scheme of things, but it's not going to cause any fundamental changes. It's not going to do anything. People won't get excited over it. So
no, okay, but that's looking at it from a degen hype perspective.
Sure.
I think if okay, listen, I was in Maine today.
Yeah.
Maine was a shit storm, beginning to happen again. Same shit, nothing happens, blah 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 blah. These type of updates show that there's activity, and that the company is doing stuff, and that they're developing, and that they're creating. When was the last relevant? I don't know. XRP Solana update? I don't know. I don't follow those.
I think
channels.
no.
It's
Polygon was 2 weeks ago. So we got Polygon.
It's not what I meant. I meant for the platforms themselves. I think it's really important that we get these updates. I think it's really important that everybody gets notified. I think it keeps everybody excited and engaged, and it keeps confidence up. I mean, this keeps on confirming. I mean, the fucking FUD that tried to run us over a while back. Yeah, no GitHub activity. Man, no use case, no utility, blah blah blah.
Yeah, but that's the other extreme, right? So you have people who have no clue what they're in. They don't even read, and they just buy a token and expect the price to go up. That's one extreme. Yeah. On the other end, you have people like us who are super informed. We know every single detail, or at least we have the tendency to know every single detail. If you ask us in the middle of the night, what is the tier 4 of the QRC20 functionality, we will probably say, oh yeah, it's this, and this. And that's the other extreme. Because we know what's going to happen, and then just seeing one step in a process that you already knew was going to happen anyway isn't really exciting. It's just, oh, nice. It's another step.
These things are signs
that's
of
kind
life.
of the and that's kind of the point I'm trying to make here. It's great. It's really cool that there's a new update. But I don't really get excited over it. And the same way goes when things go bad. I don't really care. If you go down, it's probably because people are panicking over nothing, right? In the grand scheme of things, we're just seeing another update. They just add new functionality that we knew was going to come anyway. And I don't panic about it anymore. It's not good for my heart. I'm just living my life. I'm just talking about all the things that has to do with quant. And it's great to mention it. But who really cares? It's just another update.
Okay. Am I still audible?
You are, yeah.
Perfect. Headset had some hiccups. Okay, man. I think you made your point. I think we're saying the same thing, and I agree. This update doesn't really get me that hard as it should, or as it.
Yeah.
Let's move on to SIA.
Secretly, you were expecting a mecha pump on the 15th of March, weren't you?
Of course.
Yeah. That's it. We're just both disappointed.
I could have made a SIA joke and I missed it.
Yeah.
It's so unfortunate.
Yeah. We're just unhappy apes. Oh no.
No, we're not gonna do that. We can. Oh, we're not monetized. We can do that shit. We can get demonetized because we're not monetized at all. Now, SIA people, what is SIA? I pulled it up from Wikipedia, and then we're moving to the SIA website, and then the announcement. And eventually I got some goodies from what Gilbert said in chat regarding SIA.
Yeah.
Just gonna move through that, and Tim is probably gonna how do you say, interrogate? No, question?
No, well, yeah, I'm just going to redirect you a little bit, do some editing. Jarno is just going to tell his story, and it's the story of SIA. I think it's the oldest lead. This has been going on since what is it, like 2018, 2000? No, I think people kind of noticed the collaboration between the leads between and this rabbit hole goes very deep.
Confirmation came 2019.
Yeah, exactly. But that's not my. So basically, I think the first leads were there in 2018 or something that we saw collaboration, and then the confirmation came somewhere July, June 2019, if I'm correct. So this is an old lead, and actually it's confirmed. It's one of the oldest partners of Quant, and it's a very significant one. And Jarno is going to introduce this to you. Is going to talk about this. Yeah.
So SIA SPA is an Italian company operating in the area of ICT, providing solutions and technology to the banking and finance sector in addition to platforms for financial markets and e-payment services.
Yeah.
SIA has like 3,660 employees, and it gives here the figure 748 million in revenue. It's an Italian company, and they provide payment infrastructure for, well, the world, practically. They have their own fiber network, which is huge. I think it's 180,000 kilometers.
It's always something else with you. The one time you say 80,000, then you say
180,000. No. I never said 80. Did I say 80?
You did at
Look
some
it up.
points.
Look it up.
I'll look it up for you.
Yeah,
continue your story. Yeah.
So SIA is huge, and SIA was already huge in 2020. Was one of the main reasons. No, it was the main confirmation for me that Overledger is actually being used. I mean, SIA is nobody's heard of it because it provides the actual highway, the infrastructure where every payment transaction goes across. So it's like the Vodafone owning the fiber optics or the glass fiber in your neighborhood. That's what SIA does. And SIA already was big. They already were huge. They were one of the biggest in Europe. And now recently they also partnered with Colt, and then they also partnered with Nexi. And let me look this up. Tim, did you find 180,000 kilometers already?
I am still looking. Give me 1 second. I'm looking this up for you.
Here you can see, this is the Nexi SIA website. They provide card systems, payment systems, network services. They do it for capital markets. They have blockchain, etc. And Quant is obviously providing interoperability for anybody that needs it. It's literally any-to-any seamless interoperability. And as you guys know, the biggest problem is that all payments and banks and stuff are legacy. There's no bank right now that I know of that just got created and that is totally and fully on DOT or blockchain. It just doesn't happen that way. To become a bank is a process that takes years and years. I know Kraken managed to do it. It took them, I believe, 5 or 6 years to get there because you're going to need so much documentation and history and capital and stuff. So most banks are legacy. And if you want to upgrade those banks, that's going to be a problem because you cannot stop operations for a minute, even though banks close at night. You can't just simply shut stuff off for a day or a week and then start transferring files, then stop because it's business hours and then continue. Doesn't work that way. So if you have a solution like Quant that can provide the interoperability to make all that seamless, then you can actually start to modernize. And what's really interesting is SIA is obviously, because it's been around since the 1970s, they were on legacy. They tested that they integrated Quant into their infrastructure.
Yeah, and let me interrupt you there.
Yeah.
There is they tested that in, what was it, June 2020. They made this breakthrough of testing Overledger successfully. I have it here. And now to answer your question, it's actually more than you mentioned.
Oh.
It's okay. Let's put it in the comments first. How much do you think it is?
The total length of the entire SIA network?
Yeah.
Like
okay.
all the
put it in the comments now. Okay. So the length is 208,000 kilometers.
208,000. Okay.
So it's 28K more than you said. So that's spanning the globe 5 times.
Yeah.
That's insane.
It is. And what's interesting is now that they are also integrated with Nexi, they were already integrated with Colt, is that they're the biggest payment service provider in Europe.
Yeah.
And let me see. I should have prepared this a couple of layers down, except just the first website. But they have smart contracts. They have blockchain. They have everything that you can actually expect from a company. And even after the merger with Nexi and Colt, Overledger is still their base interoperability layer, meaning that everything that happens on their network needs to go through Overledger. Simple as that. And I should have looked up. Maybe you can do that, Tim.
Yeah.
The amount of traffic that that SIA actually had. That is public knowledge because it's SPA. So that means
the amount of yearly annual traffic.
Yeah,
SIA does.
Traffic revenue.
Okay.
Those numbers. Those were pretty astounding.
Let me get to that. I'll look it up for you.
Yeah. In the meanwhile, here's the confirmation, and I got multiple sources because I have the sources from SIA and from Quant Network, because people always cry about if it's not on both websites, it's not a real partnership. So we got SIA right here on the Quant Network site. SIA partners with Quant Network to explore innovative solutions in blockchain interoperability for banks and financial institutions. I'll put this all in the description. But it stated that the first interoperability tests will be executed on R3's Corda and private Ethereum platforms. This is, by the way, ancient. This was June 5th, 2019. And then they were talking 570 European network nodes with SIA-Net. Oh, here it says the fiber optic network with high speed and low latency stretching over 186,000 kilometers that supports financial institutions, corporates, and public administration bodies in developing and implementing in a secure, protected way innovative applications based on blockchain technology. So that's huge. I hate the fact that every time when we are screen sharing, that this is over my toolbar. Really annoying. Just doxed my entire address book. Sorry.
I'm looking the amount of transactions up in the meantime, but it's a lot.
Yeah. No. Well, here we have a press release from Nexi SIA. It's on the SIA.eu website, and it states on the 24th of June 2020, Quant Network and SIA successfully tested blockchain interoperability. And there's 2 PDFs in there. I highly suggest downloading those and trying to break your brain over that. The heading is: the breakthrough was achieved by integrating Quant Network's Overledger technology into the SIA chain private blockchain infrastructure to enable cross-platform applications and services in Europe and globally. And what's interesting is, and we're going to get to the Gilbert quotes a little bit later on, there is no bank in the world that is not connected to SIA in a way. If you look up the map of their network, haven't looked it up either, you can actually see that the cables cross and connect every continent: North America, South America, Africa. It goes everywhere. And even if it's not literally the SIA network, the banks on there still connect to them, which makes it probably one of the biggest payment networks in the world.
Is also by there was one thing, I'll look that up for you too.
Yeah.
But I do have transactions. I do have some statistics.
Okay. Hit
Thanks
it.
to our hero, Son, our Dutch friend.
Do you want to share the screen, or you're just gonna read it?
Yeah, I can share the screen if you like.
Okay, I'll stop sharing.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so as you can read here, it's a tweet from Son. Hungarian also posted something about this. It was in December 2007. I'm tired, guys. 2021, I mean. 17th of December, just the day after the merger. So yeah, well, QNT obviously is connected. That's what Son says. The SIA Nexi group has 2 million merchants, so 2 million people on it. 120 million cards, 21 billion transactions, more than 5,000 employees. So I think a bit earlier we said 3,600. That was on Wikipedia, and they are across 15 countries. So this is pretty big, if you ask me.
And that was the merger, so that's not just SIA.
Yeah, well, and if we look at SIA alone in 2018, this is a bit of an older tweet. In 2018 alone, SIA that already did 14 billion transactions, so that's a couple of years ago. Yeah, well, it's
1,200 terabytes of data
on the network, and that was in 2018.
1,200 terabytes, people. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you can imagine how big that is, and that was in 2018. We're now 4 years on; they are bigger. And I will look that other chart up for you. It's a comparison of the payment companies in Europe, because there is one interesting thing. I'll show you that in a bit. Continue your story, Jarno. I'll be doing some research in the background.
Yeah. Share screen. Here we go again. Yes, what we have here. So I skipped from this. This was the press release from SIA themselves. Because this is also old. I'll put it in the description. You can read for yourself. Then we're going to get to SEC. This is also old because this is from June 17, 2019. It reads, Quant Network partner with SIA, a game changer for mass adoption by financial institutions. And that is what is so brilliant about this, is because in 2019, Quant already had secured a partnership with an infrastructure provider, with a non-crypto company. And again, that's what actually helped me to decide to invest in Quant, beside Gil's CV and the brilliance to me of Overledger and what it tried to solve. But this for me is such huge confirmation. And again, this is old information. This is 2019. I can highly recommend looking up SEC and David W. Both are on Medium and on the Twitter. They both have a lot of information that is really really interesting. What you can see here. This is about SIA themselves. Some details where they are all located. European leader in payments, 3,500 group employees, which is obviously dated intel. SIA and Cold was already a thing here. And now we got to obviously the Nexi thing attached to this as well. Let's see if there's more interesting stuff here. Definitely look this up yourself, even though it's old. These companies don't change all that much through time. And this is more fresh, more new, I think. because the European Central Bank chooses SIA and QNT to connect to Eurosystem market infrastructure. This is from Italy, the 19th of November 2020. Hey, didn't I have also that SIA is being used by the digital euro? I think I clicked that away.
Yeah, that's true. SIA and the digital euro, or I mean the European Central Bank somewhere. I have no clue, guys, but somewhere in September or October, I think it was Lagarde or someone else confirmed that the ECB is working with Nexi, and Nexi is part of SIA. So yeah. I'm just in the meantime, I'm looking up this figure of the biggest payment providers in Europe, but I can't find it. So just if you see me struggling, that's me just finding a figure.
Payment giant Nexi says it is working on digital euro with the European Central Bank. That was it. I'll leave this here. The European Central Bank has chosen SIA in partnership with Quant Technology Services for its connection to the Eurosystem market infrastructure through a single access interface. Eurosystem single market infrastructure gateway. Interesting, the term gateway in 2020. The European Central Bank has already started to use the network infrastructure of SIA and Quant for testing activities with other major central banks. SIA also provides a specific solution for the processing of all messages in order to facilitate the integration of the ECB's application software with a single SMIC access interface. So this is big. This is all traffic that's going to go through Overledger as well. Tim, you looked up as if you have something new, some information.
I don't. I'm still looking up this figure. Sorry.
Okay. So moving to this, because
there is so much FA.
Italian payments giant Nexi says it is working with the European Central Bank on its proposed central bank digital currency. We are engaging, this is a quote, we are engaging in with the European Central Bank and contributing to the design of the future digital euro, because we believe that can be a positive force in the evolution of digital payments. End quote. Nexi CEO Paolo Bertoluzzo told CNBC Karen So at Money 2020. And it continues. The ECB outlined its plan for a digital version of the euro in July. I'll just leave this here. What we got here is I took some quotes from the Telegram on what Gilbert said regarding SIA, which is quite interesting. That was the good old days when Gilbert still came into the main chat to ask questions, or to answer questions, I must say. The legendary AMAs, sometimes it was even bi-weekly, and now we are lucky if it's bi-yearly, unfortunately. Dread Bongo asked, people would do well to expand their vision when thinking of SIA as one client/use case. It's potentially thousands. And Gilbert responded, well, not many people understand the scale of SIA. It's one of the world's largest financial institutions, financial infrastructure that connects central banks, commercial banks, financial institutions, and governments. If you think of any bank globally, they are already connected to SIA-Net. Maybe SIA-Net can help you find your thing better. Enjoy your booger. He's totally zoned out.
I am not zoned out. I'm just going through hundreds and even thousands of messages.
Okay.
Trying to find this one figure because it really bothers me, because it gives you an idea of the scope of SIA, the grand scheme of things. And that's insane, but I just can't find it. It is hidden somewhere between thousands and thousands of messages. Yeah.
And
it's really frustrating.
What you see under Gilbert's reaction is AJ He's also one of the FA gods of the council. Boggling mind, biggest corporate partnership in crypto. And Dread Bongo answers, yep, it truly is the biggest blockchain DLT implementation we've ever seen. Even when we try to communicate this, people still have a hard time understanding the scale of SIA. It's frightening how large it is. Another quote, Australia's RTGS, real-time gross settlement system. So that's how Australia, the country, pays other countries or banks or whatever. Was won by Swift over Vocalink in 2018. SIA won the Canada and New Zealand real-time gross settlement contract recently, all to replace the existing real-time gross settlement system. As you've probably seen, irrespectively, all those central banks are exploring CBDCs and DLTs separate to their core RTGS platforms, which is quite amazing because this just, I put this in here because this illustrates the size and the importance, sorry, of SIA, of the network and of the connections that it has. I mean, you do not get chosen by the Canadian and New Zealand real-time gross settlement infrastructure if you're just some peanut crypto company. Just doesn't work that way. And Gilbert, yeah, just noting this and writing this down to me has a lot of weight. Not sure. Let's see what happens. COVID. Okay. This is also interesting. Somebody asked what Luke asked. Luke, super admin in Maine. What time frame are you guys looking at for connector framework? I didn't cut the rest in. And Gilbert responded, the gateway APIs are already there, and we're exploring integrations with some partners now. Publicly looking to publish for everyone after the stress test phase. So this is also really interesting because everybody's asking when gateways. And what Gilbert has been saying from the beginning is that it will be published when everything is done, and it will not be a drip per se. So it will all be published, and it will be publicly. But after stress testing, shit has to be ready. It has to work. As you can see, if the real-time gross settlement system of countries like Canada and Australia has hiccups, where you can simply perform a wormhole attack or something, then it's not a mere couple of millions that get lost. Does that make sense? I read some tweet today that a total of 15 billion was scammed away in crypto over the past years or last year. These countries settled those numbers in a day, 15 billion, for some perspective. Also,
okay, can I interrupt you for a bit?
Yeah, definitely.
I can't find that one damn figure. It is somewhere, but there are thousands of messages really.
What was the figure you were looking for again?
Yeah, it's some kind of charts where all the payment providers, so companies like Adyen, Ingenico, SIA, Nexi, Worldline, all those kinds of companies are being ranked. I think SIA is the biggest. I don't know exactly, but the point I'm trying to make, I'll show you that, is that SIA actually is bigger than most people think, because the SIA Nexi group is actually also partnered with another payment provider. I can't share that one damn figure. I can't find it. I'll try to do my best to show it to you, but I have no clue where it is. I'll share it now.
You want me to stop sharing my screen?
If you can, briefly.
I can.
Okay, so basically, I'm not sure exactly what the story is, but what I do know is that Nexi, SIA are partners, and Ingenico and Worldline are also partnered, and Nets is also in there. Anyway, they are also part of one kind of mother company, which is the EBITDA. It's the European Digital Payments Industry Alliance, and they're kind of all partnered in that alliance in Europe. Meaning that some of the biggest European payments firms are working together closely in there. And they're all kind of shareholders of that alliance. So Overledger is kind of connected into that as well. And if you combine those companies, they are by far the biggest party in Europe doing payments. But I can't find the figure. It is somewhere out there, but I have no clue where it is.
Really interesting.
That's the main takeaway. So basically, we have SIA, but the rabbit hole goes much deeper. Because also Ingenico, if you go to a bar, a restaurant, whatever, and you pay with your card, notice the terminal, and it's 9 out of 10 times it's Ingenico. It's a French company. And well, they are just huge. They're kind of everywhere. So yeah, they also need interoperability at the end of the day. Okay, go back to where you were.
Cool. Yeah, thanks for that.
Yeah, but it's bigger. I'm trying to find it, but no clue where it is.
Put the link in the from what you have now in our chat, so I can put it in the description. Another response from Gilbert. You don't get to work with government like that. There are strict procurement and qualification rules. Global companies who provide RTGS services like SIA, IBM, Oracle. It's no coincidence, because this was older-ish. But even there, he just names IBM, Oracle, FIS. I don't know what FIS is. Whenever Gilbert drops names like that, there's a reason for it. It's just it's not like we are giving an example. We're having a simple discussion, where we just name something random. As we know, Oracle. Maybe the next one we're gonna let us know. Let us know in the comments or on Instagram or Telegram what partnership you want us to discuss. Preferably a confirmed one. Could also be a hypothetical one that we 99% for sure know is one. But Gilbert writes SIA, IBM, Oracle, FIS, Nets bid on the RFP. I don't know what the RFP is. I should have looked that up. Maybe you can do that. The selection process to build systems like RTGS are huge and take a long time, let alone the contract negotiations. My time in government was as the buyer, evaluating responses, vendors, and technologies. Those large companies partner with innovative companies to give them an edge or technological advantage for their response. It takes about 1 or 2 years to be awarded a contract like that. I put this here because this illustrates why things take time. Many people are impatient. We know that it took well over a year to get Oracle certified. You had a nice tidbit on that. No, that was King's College. Gilbert name dropping things in the AMAs. He oftentimes cannot talk about things, and people always make fun about that. But this is because the technological edge. People want an edge. Companies want an edge. Companies want stuff to be secret and to remain secret, so they can build and they can release something into production straight away. So they have that edge for a certain period of time before the rest catches up. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And besides that, I mean, that takes a year, 2 years to build on the end of the client. But then there's also the certification bit, and that's what also takes 1 to 2 years, because they need to check the code, they need to check the company, they need to
noise. Sorry.
Nice. Share it in a bit. So if let's say you create some kind of software like Overledger, hypothetically, of course, and you want to sell that to a company. Before that company actually uses it for whatever they do, they want to know if you are legit. They want to know if the code is legit, the product is legit. They want to know if you can sustain service on that code. That's why fucking Bitcoin is not ideal, because there's nobody you can send an email if the network goes down. And then they need to build. And during that they want to keep everything a secret. And then you got the non-disclosure agreements. And that's why Gilbert also wrote, the central banks will share what we're doing with them. And that's why he said, we cannot talk about this. It is to the banks, to the governments, to the companies to share that information. Because there is so much financial incentive, there's so much skin in the game for those companies to transition from one system to another. And there's also so much skin in the game for Quant themselves. I mean, their reputation is on the line. And if they have bleeding edge tech like Overledger, which can actually interoperate offline CBDCs and settle that, which is way beyond my comprehension of anything. So I cannot dumb that down and simplify it for you, but that seems to be ridiculously difficult.
Yeah.
And Overledger can do that. Then it has to be flawless and it has to work every single time. You cannot have a single hiccup. It just cannot happen. And that's what I wanted to illustrate with this message. And
I'm going to illustrate.
And then before we go to Tim, how much of your overall business is based on SIA? And Gilbert responded, SIA is not our only client. They're a big client, but not the only big client. And everybody was like, sure, Gil, sure, keep on bragging. And then Gilbert bagged Oracle. And they're bigger.
That's another episode.
Biggest.
That's another episode.
Second biggest fucking software company in the world, you fudders. Tim.
Nice.
You want me to share the screen?
Yeah.
Okay, you go share.
Okay, because I'm really proud to have managed to find this.
I noticed.
I'll
notice. I'll get your face out of the way so I can see it as well.
Yeah. Okay, so what we are looking at now is taken from a report of SIA itself. It described the conditions of the merger of SIA and Nexi. And something interesting happens here because if you combine what I just said with this, you can see the current situation. So to the people listening who can't view this, we're looking at a chart based on the data of 2020. And it reads largest pan-European platform with the skill to drive superior products and efficiency leadership. So basically it ranks all European payment providers based on their EBITDA. That's like their revenue or
equity earnings before interest, taxes, dividends, and something else.
Okay. Yeah. Anyways, if you look at this chart, then in first comes in the SIA Nexi group and Nets. They bring in 1.5 billion euro. Number two is billion.
Not trillion. 1.5 billion seems not a lot of money.
But it could be revenue, right? Anyway, then we have Fizz and WorldPay. They are smaller. Then we have Worldline and Ingenico. That at first that seems innocent, but then until you realize that Worldline and Ingenico are part of the SIA Nexi group through the same structure, so they are kind of partners. So then, then it gets even bigger. Then we have Vserv and First Data. Never heard of them. Global Payments and SIS. Never heard of them. Adyen, a Dutch company, kind of a hype, comes in then, and then PaySafe, and they are all significantly smaller than the SIA Nexi group and Worldline and Ingenico. So what I just want to show with this is that the SIA Nexi is already European leader, and then they have another two companies which are partners of them through the same holding. What makes it really, really juicy, if you ask me. I'll link this report. I'll try to find it. I'll link it in the description. So that was a bit of an interruption.
This is juice, and this is indeed 1.5 billion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not an economist, but EBITDA, look up what that means.
Yeah,
But
equity before interest, taxes, dividends,
okay,
and
nice.
acquisitions.
Yeah, whatever it is, I think it perfectly.
It is that. I just told you.
Yeah. Okay. No,
It
I have
is
no
that.
clue. Okay, but I have no clue what it means. I'm not an economist. I'm just
it's
an
the
ape.
earnings, what they earned before they had to pay taxes,
Okay. Fair enough.
interest,
Yeah.
dividends. So it's like their
1.5 billion
gross.
in that's a lot, honestly.
Yeah.
It's their Okay. Just briefly, it just shows
I'll
how.
put the definition with the Wikipedia for EBITDA.
Yeah. Okay. But it just shows how kind of everything interconnects, and companies work together, and how huge the scope
Taxes, depreciation,
is.
and amortization.
Yeah. Okay.
So the last two is depreciation and amortization. I'll put it from Investopedia.
Back to your story about SIA. I just wanted to show that for a bit, because I think a lot of people tend to overlook it, and it just shows how huge the scope is of this project. Back to Gilbert's bragging about his customers and clients.
Yeah. Let me see, because now I shouldn't scroll. Yeah. So Pablo asked, "Hi Gilbert, the Bank of England report released yesterday was very interesting. Do you see any other technologies being holistic enough to provide the overlay?" Not sure what that refers to. Let me see, why did I pick this? Public comments were made by the clients of SIA, the ABI at QuarterCon in September. They have big plans for SIA, which we're excited to be part of. SIA is a huge partner and leader in financial infrastructure, and they've picked our technology to solve interoperability of blockchain across financial institutions. I picked this because that confirms the scope and the importance of this. AJ, based and incredibly Rome-pilled. AJ loves the Rome-London, let's call it interoperability through the history. And Gilbert also stated, "I think Overledger is very capable to be the global infrastructure for CBDCs." I think that will be the title, the subtitle of this video. Gil, you work Sundays too? Quant never stops. So yeah, SIA. It's the first name I drop when people ask me what are partners of Quant. And what I find astounding is that if people now ask, what has Quant done? And then they add, besides SIA, as if SIA is fucking chopped liver, as if SIA is a nothing burger. They want something new, they want something fresh. And that's the ridiculousness of crypto. I mean, if XRP would have banked SIA, it'd be a trillion market cap with the loonies walking around over there. But
Yeah.
Quant still 45k wallets. It's hilarious.
It's a strange world. Yeah, we've covered that a lot of times. I'm not going to vent my frustration again. Is there anything you want to add about SIA, or did we kind of cover the scope of it?
No. I'm not going to look up this quote, but Gilbert said something that it would have taken over 10 years to integrate 570 banks, and that's the way Quant operates. They just go to the top, and then they integrate top down.
Yeah.
And what many other crypto companies do is they try to go bottom up. And I know that I'm using the terms not as they are intended, but if you're gonna approach one bank at a time, you're gonna book one bank at a time. It will grow quicker, probably not that much quicker, but if you can manage to get a payment provider like SIA that actually does everything for those banks. I say this fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
And now with the Nexi, they got like 1,000 banks under the belt. How many central banks? Over 50, 60 European central banks? Yes.
There can't be 60 European central banks. What do you mean?
Okay.
What is your question?
I was summarizing how many central banks they booked with the SIA merger.
Well, that could be in a worldwide scale. I don't know.
Let's see.
Look it up. Got a lot of questions as well. We have to kind of get into that. Let me look. Yeah, there was this one question today about it had to do with SIA and those 580, 570 banks in terms of their licenses. And whether all those banks pay their licenses individually or that SIA pays it for them. I asked it in the Counchill because I have no idea. I mean, I don't have time to investigate everything. Someone answered. And to his understanding, I'm just going to read this up, or shall I share my screen? I think that works a bit better.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I'm just a bit lazy. I'm not lazy, that's not the right word, but I'm just a bit slow. Interesting podcast this way.
We can pause it for a bit.
No. Let's not do that. We're just looking stuff up for you guys. We're just doing all the hard work so you don't have to do it yourself. Okay, I have it here, and it's about paying the license fees with companies. Okay, here it is. Yeah, so I asked this question about whether do they pay those licenses themselves, or does SIA do it for them? I just got one answer. I'm going with that. And it says, to my understanding, enterprise license model differs case by case. It could be that SIA pays for one license that lets 570 banks use OVN, or it could be that SIA pays for 570 licenses and then it charges the 570 banks any amount it deems reasonable. I think each license is tied to a unique wallet. So that would mean 570 licenses are required, but it could be that they have an option of a parent wallet similar to XRPL and its tags. That would mean SIA could revoke a license from any of the 570 banks. Ultimately, each customer might have a different license model for their unique implementation. So it kind of depends, apparently. That's the short answer.
It does.
Yeah. So yeah, that was just one question I got on Instagram.
What's interesting, I can add some more onto that, because there was an offer on the Quant Network website, and that actually showed the options that corporates have, and obviously there were no figures there, besides the figures for remote connected gateway operators being £100. Like tier 1 developers, £200, and it's the next level was £1,000, and after that, numbers are not given. It's what they negotiate, but they always have the same as you have when you get like a very big email provider for a company. If you want to send out a lot of emails, you have several packages, and you can choose if you want to pay per developer. You can choose if you want to pay per computer. You can choose if you want to pay per transaction, or you simply want to buy that off, or you want to go with unlimited developers, unlimited nodes, but you do want to pay per transaction. So that's always custom. What remains is that you can technically buy everything off if you want. Obviously, the price will go hockey stick. And still QNT will be needed all over the network. And I think that's really important to add, because there were people, I think Jeff made the joke. He said in Quamfy Lounge, companies can pay off their transaction fees, so they don't have to pay for transactions.
Yeah.
And Hungarian Horntail and I just jumped on them like rabid dogs to state that QNT will still be needed. So if a company gets a package with everything included, meaning they do not have to pay per transaction, they do not have to pay for separate nodes, blah, blah, they got carte blanche, they can do whatever they want, then still for everything they do, QNT is needed. They still need access points with gateways. I still need to stake QNT in those gateways, which will obviously be provided by Treasury because they will have a hosting service. But for everything that's done on the network, QNT will still be needed. I just wanted to add that. Thanks.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
And regarding the central bank number, I cannot find it. I'm not good at Googling under stress. I do agree that it's probably not 50 central banks.
Are we talking about
SIA again? Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, are we talking about banks in Europe or banks worldwide? Because if it's in Europe, it can't. Yeah, worldwide, obviously.
Yeah, obviously, because SIAnet is bigger, so that they service way more.
Course,
but I butcher numbers often, so it's good to fact check me a lot.
Anyways, they have back to some banks. We can Google it. Put it in the
More questions from the gram.
Yeah, let's go there. Okay, so people have been spamming me. There was one more kind of serious question. Yeah, okay, so basically someone talked about me today about talk to me about Metcalfe's law. You're fucking talking to me about Metcalfe's law and asked me and Lexip to do a post on that, and we will surely do. And he just asked some questions, and one of them I couldn't really answer in a text way. I mean, I could text an answer to him, but it wouldn't make sense. So I'm just going to do this vocally. And the question reads: I do have another question regarding QNT. It has first mover advantage and patents for its technology. But what if, let's say, another company in the future develops a better technology that doesn't make businesses pay or something along those lines, making QNT not needed, and their partners leave for another company? So to get it short, what would happen if another company steps in for, with kind of a superior service, where businesses don't pay and then they become the product?
Yeah, so he's technically saying, let's say China hacks Overledger, they provide Overledger services, the same level of interoperability, but token not needed, and it's free.
Yeah, so there are the companies now using Overledger go to another service which doesn't charge them as much because they are probably the product. Yeah, that's kind of the question that's being asked. I can send it to you in a text way.
No. I think I get it, but I think besides that's not how the world works. From what I hear, I mean,
no, yeah,
it's a little bit utopian. I mean, let me give an example. How much time does it take for a company to move from one solution to another solution?
A lot.
Yeah, a lot. Like we stated earlier, it takes, let's say 2 years. 2 years to vet a company and to make sure the company is legit and it does what it needs to do. Then you need 2 years at least to develop your product.
Yeah, at least.
And to market it.
In the most positive scenario, yeah.
Yeah. So that would set you back 4 years. What kind of
to get it more easy. Let's simplify this and make it a bit more concrete. Let's say the entire world uses Microsoft Windows at the moment. It's either Microsoft Windows or Mac OS, right?
Yeah.
And well, companies pay a lot of money for that. And it's been in development since the 1980s. with both products. But we also have Linux, which is free of charge, I think. Is Linux free of charge?
It is.
How many of those companies are using Linux?
A lot.
But
I
all
think
of them.
Linux is way leaner than Windows.
But still, at my work, at least, we use Windows.
Yeah.
A lot of companies, we use Windows.
Everybody knows and understands Windows.
Yeah. So for some reason, we are not all at Linux. We are still at Windows, right?
Yeah.
So that's the way we need to look at this. We can make it very
okay, but
complex and stuff. But at the end of the day,
they forget one thing, and that's where this entire thing goes wrong, and that is token not needed. No.
I'm not sure if that's in the question.
Yes, that was definitely in the question.
Oh.
Because if you skip
No. It means not token not needed, but like Overledger. QNT as an Overledger not needed. So QNT not needed, but QNT meaning Overledger. So not the token not needed, but the Overledger.
Yeah. Okay. So they want to use Overledger, but they don't want to use Overledger. They have some bootleg version.
No. Sorry. I'm trying to. People really misinterpret me today for some reason. It's not you. It's more in general. So basically, it says, well, in case there comes a superior product, right, from another company where you don't pay because you are the product. I think that's the assumption, and that means that people, the companies now using Overledger are going there, meaning that Overledger itself is not that needed because companies leave.
Okay.
That's a different type of question than token not needed.
Okay.
Do I make any sense?
No, yeah, so, no, not really. Because why the hell would somebody go? I mean,
I'll put it in the text.
I put it in the app. I pay for an application so that I'm not being spammed with bullshit, and they don't use all my shit for stuff. I don't want Telegram. Yeah,
it's a bit. Yeah, it's also a bit problematically written. Okay. You can read it yourself now. I'm going to do another question in the meantime, if you're okay with that. Or do you want to?
Yeah, but this is bullshit. It says, what if let's say another company in the future develops a better technology that doesn't make businesses pay or something, making QNT not that needed, and their partners leave for the other company. Okay, there's never ever going to be a company that's going to provide a free service that's going to be better than that. I mean, the problem is if you make something free, then there's no liability, then there's no control, and then there's no accountability. I mean, if it's a company needs to make money, and Facebook is free. Facebook is definitely free, but it's not, because they are selling everything to other companies. That's why Facebook was nearly banned from the EU, because they want to store all information in the US, because then they don't have to abide by European law, because European law doesn't allow for the data to be sold the way that the US allows your data to be sold. I mean, you literally sell your soul to American companies if they are allowed to store their data in the US.
I remember this FUD. There was this FUD about Facebook being banned. What happened to them?
It's not FUD. That was literally on the table.
Yeah, okay, but you have always those investor FUDs, and the EU banning stuff, and at the end of the day, they don't ban anything, and it's just
okay. But
Bloomberg
the GDPR
in caps lock screaming something.
The GDPR is a thing. There's a reason why Lolly giving you free Bitcoin for shopping is not to be given to people in the EU, because Lolly is actually selling your data to everybody.
Yeah.
And
at the end of the day,
you can't do that. So that means that the revenue model, because that's what this question was about. Mm-hmm. That's what this question was about.
Yeah.
Can a company provide a free service that's superior to QNT so that all the people working with QNT go to that company? I don't think it's going to happen in this context. I think there can always be competition, and I think there can always be a company with a better solution.
Yeah.
And sure, people could go there. But as you stated yourself in the question, if somebody is in business with a specific company, then they stay there. I mean, I love Android, I love Google, I love Windows, I love Logitech. Nearly everything I have is Logitech. It just works for me. I love it. I love Samsung. I love my Samsung phones. I'm used to it. I trust it. It works. So I stay with that, even if I have to pay a little bit more. And regarding the token, nothing works without the token. And the token seems like a liability to you. And you think token may be not needed. It's not what you wrote. I read the question. But the token actually secures the network. It provides the licensing. The token is an immutable access pass to the network, unlike CD keys and all those types of things. I mean, I use Driver Booster. I never pay for a license. I just look it up, find the license code, and I tap that in. If that was secured with a token, it could never ever get hacked in that way. Does that make sense? So it provides an extra layer of security to the network. But yeah, man, if there's competition and it's free or let's say a lot cheaper, sure, people can move on. Definitely, why not? Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm gonna do an easy question. When Toyota Camry, I think we'll have to go to the global ship tracker and see how the supply chain works.
If you want to go full option, then there's a waiting. Then there's a waiting list. Probably it's going to take you at least a year. Yeah.
Okay. Now another relevant question: why is Mick Carter leaving EastEnders? I have no clue who Mick Carter is. And,
what the fuck is EastEnders?
I think it's some kind of soap.
Okay. Sorry. No.
No. That's kind of the level of questions we're getting on quantities. Oh, this is another one. Ooh, I love this one. You want to answer it, Jarno? Are you mentally prepared? Are you mentally prepared? No.
Wayne Kraken.
No. It's
Okay.
even worse. When can we see coin being utilized? And what about connections to ISO 222? The Quant has no utility. I'm skipping this question. Okay. Why has there been zero communication about license payment date of 15th March? There has been communication. My main communication was that nothing happened on the 15th of March. So that's your communication right there. Okay. Another one. Preferred method for storing.
Well,
I use the ledger.
I have something ish
Oh.
on the licensing. Hungarian. I'm gonna turn this light.
Shall we go into depth about this? Because you shared like a shit ton of messages about this last week.
Yeah, you want to do that?
I mean, yeah, we can also save it for a later episode because it goes deep. The rabbit hole is pretty deep.
It's really speculative. We can do this for a bit. We can just scoot through this because
I'm putting on my tinfoil hat and let's go.
Yeah. Let me. Okay. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so to be clear, this is all speculation. This is all not confirmed, and this is all just some research. And let's call it conjecture. There's this theory. There was a lot of buying volume, and there was a lot of volume when we pumped all the way to like $400 last year. I noticed like 6 months ago, we discussed it in Dutch, that there were a ton of wallets that all had the same amount of QNT, and they were in the top 100, like 5,000, 15,000 QNT. I can't remember the number. I'm terrible with numbers. And there was no ETH in the wallets. I posted that in the Dutch group, and then somebody said, yeah, but that's just the way Coinbase manages their tokens. That's fine. They do that with other tokens as well. And after that, that information kind of got buried, and everybody was like, yeah, it's not interesting anymore. Then Hungarian Horntail also came up with this, and that's what you see here. And he wrote, this has been discussed at length. So in short, all we know is there is 1.5 million QNT in cold wallets that is batch sent from Coinbase, and that those wallets only add QNT. None has sent a single one. And he writes, IMO, it's utility or tremendous institutional internal buy pressure. The former is more likely, given not a single QNT has been sold since accumulation began, but ultimately all scenarios are exceptionally bullish. So what he states is they have only been adding and they have not been selling. At this point, this is the case he's making. It wouldn't be a long shot to speculate. This is enterprise gateways / utility. There are quite a few connections to Coinbase. That was also my hypothesis then, but again, LCX, they also store their LCX in a different wallet, and they do it for a ton of other coins. Then he puts up a quote from Gilbert. We don't, but we need regulated partners like Voyager, Coinbase, Kraken, Bitstamp, etc. And they need us to be part of the OVN ecosystem. Then he posts, Coinbase reveals plans for crypto app store amid global focus, which is interesting. And this was a removed tweet. We also want to work with Coinbase, on other innovative products and solutions in the future, by G Verdian. And then Hungarian posts some wallets with the numbers. Yeah, it's 15,000 QNT, 14,844. These are also a bunch of numbers of exchanges. And Son then said, nice theory, 10% of the supply. I mean, that's what we're talking about. That's 14.6 million QNT. 10% is in possession of Coinbase.
10%?
Yes, because they have 1.5 million tokens. And
nice.
And then he goes on, how else do you explain over 1 billion in QNT purchases sent to cold wallets without any outflow? And what's interesting is because on that day, regardless of price, there was a bunch of billions in buying volume, but we only have 40,000 wallets.
Yeah.
So that would mean there's a lot of buy pressure from coming out from Coinbase, and it could be that there's 100,000 holders of QNT on Coinbase. Obviously, we don't know that, but that's an insane amount for QNT with such a small holder base. He continues, there's more too. This all began after the Coinbase listing. Toward the end of the all-time high pump, we had 2 sequential Sundays where Coinbase had linear buy pressure for hours, as if the price didn't matter. The tokens were pumped out via batch sends to matching wallets, which is when I first noticed and began following the data. Son then writes, haven't researched it, but the obvious question would be cold wallet on exchanges, ? But you obviously checked that first. 10% is insanely bullish. And then Hungarian asks, have you ever heard of cold wallets that only work one way? Nope. Especially over the last 4 or 5 months of price appreciation and macro. Son asks, is it still happening? Hungarian says, yep. And Son says, adoption, baby. And then a decrease of supply on one end and soon mesh utility on the other hand. We're sitting on a powder keg. If Coinbase feels the need to secure 1 billion in QNT for their enterprise gateway, then we've all underestimated the impact of utility. The purchasing power that floated to Quant from Coinbase into these wallets is more than half the value of the current market cap. Then he shares some wallets. He says it's dozens of wallets. Just look across the top wallets in Etherscan. Let's see. All outcomes are exceptionally bullish. And later, I don't know if I put that here. No, I didn't put that here. There was, let me look that up. There was somebody that that countered Hungarian. I have that here, I think. Sebastian did that. Let me share that too, because sure. It's not all super duper. Let's see. Oh, we had a little poll. or is it called French fries or patat? Well, never mind. What's the outcome? Patat. It's patat.
Sorry, Miko. Just patat.
Unfortunately, Sebastian says it's not entirely true. There were movements on those wallets, always identical. ETH transfer from Coinbase hot wallet, then Quant transfer to Coinbase hot wallet. Later one of those three options was done. Quant is left on hot wallet. 2, withdraw from Coinbase. 3, transfer to another cold wallet. Examples of wallets where there were such moves. He's posting them here. Just pause the video if you want to look them up. Just type them over. There are quite a few such wallets, but I don't want to clutter the chat. Some are standard cold wallets, some are different. Behavior like Colin send Quant to the hot wallet and then immediately to other cold wallet or the new cold wallet. So Hungarian asks, so it isn't ever hitting the exchange. Also, I'm yet to see outflows from the wallets that have matching bot-like behavior. Did you see this on them? It is sent to the main wallet of the exchange. Examples, blah, blah, blah. These are all I've tracked down. I currently have 203 quote cold wallets related to Coinbase with QNT. 203 cold wallets. Jesus. You think those are regular cold wallets? Ollie asks, or wallets with locked tokens? And Sebastian says, in my opinion, mixed up. It's hard to find out more. When they officially introduce the gateway, we need to watch these wallets very carefully. Okay, so what is very interesting on that is because Coinbase also has Coinbase custody.
Yeah.
And
I think we first, that's actually how it started. We started with Coinbase custody.
Yeah.
And then very, very soon we actually entered Coinbase Pro and the regular Coinbase.
Yeah, and let me make the case here because Quant is a company and it's a fintech. What is a liability? Tokens are a liability. If you own or hold tokens for companies,
yeah,
you need to show where those tokens are, and you need to make sure that they are secure, etc. Insurance-wise, a mistake being made, you know, it's all risk. It's all a liability. When everything goes live and the treasury goes live, etc., then there are dedicated wallets that are assigned for treasury activity. Those wallets are public information. Right now, thinking of what I said earlier, and also what Gilbert wrote, there is a certain amount of secrecy. We do not know who is partnered with whom. We don't know what they pay, and they don't want us to know. Even when we're going to get the dashboard and stuff, it will all be anonymized. We will see batches, and it will all be similar numbers. And when tokens get or licenses get refreshed, it will all be anonymized. It will all be just stamped flat, and it will all look like, I think, a continuous buying and selling by a market maker just to obfuscate what's going on. What we have right now is because those official wallets are not in use. They need to put license tokens somewhere. And I think even without those wallets, they will use, for instance, Coinbase custody for that. So licenses get bought. Licenses should get bought because SIA has been paying since 2019. And people can say whatever the fuck they want. But I believe Gilbert if he says SIA is live and transacting. Yeah. I believe that. I don't think Gilbert is lying. Why should he?
I don't think Gilbert is lying. The same goes with that. Did we mention it earlier this episode? In his 27 November update in the community channel. Yeah. He gave an update on the gateways, and he talked how the team was doing with COVID, yada yada yada. And then something in between that they've also been working on this certification with a world-class university. We thought, oh, that's MIT. Everyone kind of missed the Easter egg, but that now I'm reading it again. It's actually the DLT course I've been doing with Kings. It was just in
King's is
in
King's
plain
College
sight.
London.
Yeah, King's College London, KCL, but it was in plain sight and everyone missed it. That's so funny how that works. I don't think Gil is lying about anything.
No,
He can't in his position.
Yeah,
He just simply can't.
and again, the Coinbase custody. So I think that licenses are being bought. I think Gilbert is holding up his end of the deal, because the deal in the white paper always was enterprises buy licenses, developers buy licenses. The duration of the license, the amount of QNT, and this is basic tokenomics, people, gets converted to QNT for the price that is QNT then and there. So if it was today, it's 102 euros, and that gets locked for the duration of the contract. But you need to lock it somewhere. Where are you going to do that? Is Gilbert going to do that in his basement? Is he going to ask Luke to put it on a ledger? No, he's not. They're going to use Gemini, Bitstamp, all the examples Gilbert gave, and Coinbase custody, because those guys are specialized. They're specialized in managing that type of stuff, and they pay for it, and that's fine, and they're insured. And you want to delegate all that shit, same as institutions and banks want to delegate all the nonsense with the gateways and all that stuff. They just want to do their core business. They want nothing to do with what happens in the background, so they delegate that. And then Gilbert makes sure all that stuff gets sorted, but he doesn't want to mess with big numbers of QNT being transferred on the day-to-day.
So
they delegate that to Coinbase and other custodians. Yeah.
Isn't that the task of the treasury, though?
Does the treasury need to have all those tokens there all the time?
So it probably sends just, yeah, okay, fair enough, I get it. So the treasury does the transactions, but it sends them to trusted wallets. Fair enough, I get it.
I think that's the case, and I know that stuff is obviously behind smart contracts and escrow. I think that a Coinbase can easily provide that. I do not believe. There was also some speculation in the Clubhouse and at Twitter. How's that called? Meet? No.
No, the Hangout.
Yeah.
No, the Clubhouse and Twitter Spaces.
Twitter Spaces. That the treasury has the freedom to use the license fees for other stuff. They don't. It's all separated. So that means that if, let's say, I want to buy a license and I want to go with an all-in license, so I pay 10 million and I pay that in QNT. Those QNTs get locked for the duration of my license. That's a year. Those tokens are out of circulation. There's no question about this. Yeah, do not doubt this. This is what is agreed upon. This is what it was in the white paper. This is how it works. So those QNT are out of circulation for the duration of a year. Nobody can get to that because they are behind a contract, and they do not get unlocked until the contract expires. Then every transaction requires QNT. Everything that goes on in the network requires QNT. Does the treasury have QNT? Probably. What happens when they are out of QNT? They need to buy them on the open market. Is there a license for, let's say, the Dutch government? They want Overledger for everything, and they need 100 million euros worth of QNT. Treasury doesn't have that. So they need to buy that on the open market. Will that be market buys? Maybe. It will not be one buy order, but they have to buy it on the open market. So they have to buy our tokens. And it is very, very simple. And this is one of the 7 or 8 game theory incentives. If we all hold on to our QNT, they need the QNT for the utility and for the function of the network. This means that if we do not sell, they have to raise the price.
Yeah, that's the theory, at least.
Because if you do not raise the price, you cannot utilize the decimals. because you need the QNT. So if a transaction costs 1 cent, then you need that many verdients. Meaning that if there's only 10 QNT because we hold on to the rest, and there's only 2 QNT to go around, that's still a ginormous fuck ton of verdients. Don't get me wrong, but the price needs to go up to allow for those decimals to be used. You cannot simply say, "Oh, let's just take this QNT and let's take the verdients from those." You are dependent on market price. You understand?
Yeah, I'm just looking at your gestures.
Yeah, it's
no, but I get it. I get it.
To me,
it's just the idea of demand and supply, right?
Yes, supply and demand, and to me, it makes so much sense, and
it does. It
bothers me so much that so many people find it so very difficult
to understand such a basic principle. Yeah.
Another
question.
No. Let's continue for this a bit, because the Treasury needs to buy. They simply cannot not buy because they need the utility. So either they get the QNT for current market price if we are selling, or they need to put their bids higher. And there's always sellers. There's obviously always sellers. There's always people who want to trade. There's always people who want to sell. But the ball is in their corner always, because the utility needs to happen.
Yeah.
And that's what makes everything so insanely bullish.
Yeah.
Because there's 14.6 million tokens. Coinbase has fucking 10%.
Yeah, I think that's perfectly what I'm saying the entire time. It's the bottom line. Market conditions can change, but the utility is here to stay.
Yeah.
The fundamentals are here to stay, and the demand from the fundamental side of things will remain here. So then it gets a very simple matter of supply and demand.
Yeah.
And the demand will be way higher than the supply. Okay.
Yeah, and hold on. No. One last thing. And that's why
it's basic economics. How stupid are people, really?
And that's why I think that there will be a continuous buy and sell pressure by the Treasury. I think there will be a base load of volume going on when everything is live, because the Overledger, the company Quant will not want to make big spikes on the chart and paint the chart and be accused of manipulating the market. So I think they'll have multiple market makers continuously buying and selling to obfuscate, to hide the volumes, to hide how many licenses are being renewed and how much they actually need. And now I'm done. Thank you.
Sorry. I was just hearing the story of supply and demand. Okay. One final question, I think. I've went through most questions. It was junk. So I'm not answering them. Sorry for that. You still there?
Yeah, I'm there.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I'm there.
Okay. I was a bit worried you were gone. Yeah, there was one question. So why does Quant mainly target CBDCs when there are so many more verticals like healthcare, etc.? We've kind of answered that question in previous times.
Yeah.
Mainly has to do with their social media activity. I think the main reason for that is that they can talk about CBDCs in the sense that they are now kind of lobbying to policymakers to kind of push the implementation of it. Not because we are not ready on the technical side. We've been ready for a couple of years, I think. It's just getting the minds ready for implementing CBDC. So that's, I think, the reason why we mainly see this activity. And I think that in a lot of other verticals, yeah, it just happens by other companies. It's not really the Quant's main business. If the company is using Overledger, want to do something in a different vertical, it's not really. It's nice, but it's not their main thing. I think the reason we're now seeing so much activity about CBDCs is simply just get policymakers and then politicians and stuff ready to get this going.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's kind of the answer to the question.
Keep it on the people's tongues. Keep it on the people's tongues. Make sure people are talking about it. People are thinking about it. I mean,
exactly.
It is what is going on right now on the world stage. I mean, governments are up with that. I do think that healthcare was named in a question.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
healthcare is huge.
Yeah,
Sovereign identity is getting a lot of attention.
yeah.
Smart cities still, and
And
Quant can do it
let's not
all.
forget, in the past, Quant has talked about healthcare. Quant has done all those other things. It's just that currently we're just seeing a lot of activity around CBDCs, but they have talked about all the other stuff. So I wouldn't, well, draw your conclusions too early. Okay. Yeah, I think that's kind of sums it up in terms of questions I got on Instagram. I got more questions, but it's all kind of when staking, when Lambo, when Toyota Camry. Not going to answer that. Yeah, I think we've kind of went through it. Oh, there were some people who are not able to read for some reason. They were asking about the differences between Quant, Polkadot, and Cosmos. We did a post on that already many months ago, so I'm not going to repeat what I've said. I think that's kind of sums it up. Yeah. Yeah, sorry for editing you at some points. I still have to do this with Jarno. Just shut it. I'm sorry for that.
Sometimes it's useful, but
it's I hope I didn't annoy you with that.
Sometimes
No.
it's useful, but sometimes it's just
Annoying.
I know I'm kind of long-winded.
No, yeah. So, the thing is, I need to make that clear. Like, we've been talking about this stuff for more than a year now. So kind of, I feel like we're talking about the same stuff all the time.
We need to. We need to.
And we need to do that, and we'll have to be doing that because, well, every day we add new holders, so we need to tell the same story every day to new people. But at some point, it can get a bit lengthy, and I feel like grandpa telling the same story again. So that's my
no, Tim, I agree. But what I think is we started a new series now.
True.
And we're going in on the partnerships. From what we discussed this, you know, I'm in contact with.
We did discuss the partnerships though.
Yeah,
full detail.
Yeah, definitely. But I also talked with Greg and Ghost and a bunch of other, now let's call them influencers.
Yeah.
And obviously also with you. And we noticed that just basic knowledge of what quant is, what tokenomics are, but also basic economics, it's not there. People don't know. And we talked amongst ourselves, and we stated, we concluded that quant has a lot of dependencies. And the dependency is that you need to have certain things clear before you can understand other things. Nobody can do multiplication. My daughter is 4. She cannot do multiplication. She can count now to 100, but she cannot add. She cannot add numbers. She cannot subtract yet. I mean, I can try and show her on my fingers. So there's no point in trying to teach her how to manage money, because she cannot subtract, she cannot add, she cannot multiply. So, and that's the same what we're getting now with people on the Instagram and stuff. And that's why we're building this series. So we can actually, we're gonna have a tokenomics series as well, or something like that. So people can just flick to a video and learn, because Jesus.
No, it was nothing against you, but at some points I feel like we're telling the same story, and
but we are.
But I'm also a listener. I listen to ourselves, and I'm hearing the same thing every week. At some points, not that it happens all the time, but sometimes I'm just trying to kind of.
I'm a teacher. I know you need to tell the same shit over and over, and people still don't know. People still don't learn, and people still don't understand. And it's like you're exactly like you're a parrot, like you're repeating yourself ad nauseum. It's part of the game, dude.
True. Yeah, sometimes I just want to keep stuff fresh. If it makes any sense.
We had a lot of freshness in the beginning of the video. Okay, let's move on. Are we done? Are we done for today, Tim?
I think so. If there's anything you want to add, go for it. But I am personally
economy 101.
Dude, we're going to talk about the economic theories of Milton Friedman versus Keynes.
Yeah.
Let's do that for the next hour.
My God. I need to read up.
No.
It's I love this. How long have we been? How long have we been? Hour and a half, something like that?
Yeah. I think we kind of cut it short with the current market conditions. I think that the market is kind of boring at the moment. That's a curse. Every time I say that, something happens. So yeah, we just can use the momentum to get a little bit in depth, back to the drawing board, show you what Quant is all about.
I got a mosquito bite.
Oh,
Fucking
dear.
April, March. Oh my God, it's gonna be terrible
Climate
summer.
change.
Let's not go there. Okay. Let us know. Let us know in the comments. Let us know on the Instagram and on the whatnot. What partnership do you want us to talk about next week? Yeah, if you have any questions, let us know. We're gonna be
please
back
no when staking. I'm not going to do that again. I'm really not.
You know you're
feeding
the machine, right? Next week you're gonna have 1,000 over 9,000. No, you're gonna have people are bastards. We moved up the schedule, so this video is gonna be up on Friday. So every Friday you're gonna have a new English episode, and every Wednesday you're gonna have a Dutch one. And partnership video next week, I think.
Yeah, let's talk about another partner. There's quite a lot of partners to talk about.
Yes.
So yeah, we have a lot of material to cover, and we will be inviting guests over. That's kind of my ambition. If people like to be our guest, at least. That's you'll see. Okay. I'm gonna round this up. I think we've been talking
plenty
for a pretty long time. So I enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it too, and we'll see each other
next video.
Stay Quamfy.
Stay Quamfy.